Robert Boyle in 1661 coined the term element, but he didn't define it. Later, Antoine Laurent, he was the one who gave a basic definition of element. So element, he said, was a basic substance which cannot be further broken down into its particles. Although today we know that elements are made of atoms and molecules. Now the elements can be broadly classified as metals and non-metals. The metals are generally solids at room temperature. But of course we have the variation, that of mercury. So first the metals, they are solid, hard, then they have a luster, a shine, so they are lustrous. Sonorous, that is, they can create a sound, that is why the bells are made of metal. High boiling point and melting point. Malleable, that means they can be hammered into sheets. That is why we have sheets of metals. Then ductile, they can be drawn into wires. That is why we have copper wires. Then also gold. 1 gram of gold can be really stretched into a very, very long tube or wire. Then they are good conductors of heat. So all the cooking vessels, they are made of metals, and electricity. So that is why the electric wires are made up of copper. But both in the cases of cooking vessels and the electrical wires, we find a combination of wood or plastic. The handles of a vessel or of a spoon is made up of either wood or plastic, and the covering of electrical wire is also plastic, because they are bad conductors of heat and electricity. And if we don't have this wooden handles, then it will become very difficult. So our conventional vessels, they don't have wooden handles. So we always are either using a tong or we are using a cloth to lift them or to remove them from the gas to the counter. So it is very important that if we want a convenience, then these things should be covered with some bad conductor of heat and electricity. So here the properties of metals are being turned into various uses. But all elements are not metals. Some elements are non-metals. Non-metals have all the opposite properties. They can be solid, liquid or gas at room temperature. No luster. Of course, diamond has. Everywhere there is an exception. Iodine is also lustrous. Then bad conductors. Here also there is a exception. Diamond has, the graphite is a good conductor of electricity. So these are the properties of non-metals. They are not malleable and ductile. There are third type of elements, the metalloids, which have both the properties of a metal and a non-metal. We started the discussion with one word, and that is pure. And we said pure here does not mean unadulterated. Then what is pure? We know one thing, that mixture is not pure. Then what is pure? Mixture is made of pure substances. What are those pure substances? Those pure substances are elements. An element is pure because it is made of same type of atoms. And from wherever you may take that element, it will have same properties. For example, whether oxygen is in air or in soil, it has the same property. It helps in burning. It is a supporter of combustion. But this is not all. There is another form of pure substance, and that is a compound. The compound is also made up of same type of molecules. For example, water. Water is made up of oxygen and hydrogen, and they are combined together in the ratio of 1:8. 1 part of hydrogen and 8 parts of oxygen. So from wherever you may take water, it will have same composition, same oxygen and hydrogen in same ratio. I know you are not going to agree with me. You are going to say, sea water is so different in taste from tap water. But whether it is sea water or it is tap water, they are not the purest form of water. They are mixtures, because many different type of salts are dissolved in them. The pure form of water, like the one we get after distillation, has only oxygen and hydrogen. There are many such compounds. Like to understand it a little better, what you can do is, you can take some iron filings and sulfur powder. Mix it. How well you may mix, you will be able to see yellow color somewhere, grey color of iron somewhere. Then in another one, you heat it, and it will become a black mass, and that will be iron sulfide. Now this is made up of two elements, iron and sulfur, which have combined in a fixed ratio, as in the case of water. Hydrogen and oxygen always in the fixed ratio. Here iron and sulfur in fixed ratio, and what they form is compound. In a mixture, like I gave you the example of India, though people are together, they retain their original or individual culture. In a mixture also same thing happens. The components retain their individual properties, but not so in the case of a compound. If you have taken this mixture and then you take a magnet near it, what will happen? The iron filings will be attracted towards magnet, and when we clean it in another container, we can collect the iron filings. So the magnetic property of iron has been retained, and by this method we can also separate the two, because sulfur is non-magnetic. So by using magnet, we can separate the two. But here, if we take magnet near the iron sulfide, nothing is attracted towards magnet, because now it has undergone a complete change. A new substance has been formed. The color is also uniform. It is neither gray nor yellow. It is black, which means physical properties have changed. Even the chemical properties have changed. Now it is not a magnetic property is not there. Iron cannot be separated. So in a compound, what we find is that the individual properties are lost. Not that in the case of a mixture.